My friend, how are you?
Good. I can hear you now, and you can.
Excellent. So I wanted to have you on because there's so much going on in Donbass, and first of all, give us an update on what's happening on the ground there.
Well, I sent you some slides and maps, so let's bring those slides up, and let's take a look at the map.
Sure. So the next slide. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So there's a Cauldron, and the Russian troops, they utilize this famous strategy of creating larger cauldrons, smaller cauldrons, and even smaller cauldrons, and they utilize this all the time. And we can see larger Donbass cauldron happening, and we can see two cauldrons on the territory of Pokvrosk and Mirnograd. And the situation is really bad.
Explain what you mean by cauldron. You mean like a
surrounded? Yeah,
surrounded. Okay, yeah.
Grounded, yeah, grounded and surrounded troops of Ukrainian forces. According to the some sources and some little excerpts from gossips I see in Telegram channels, and I see from people talking in Kyiv. Some battalions of Ukrainian forces lost up to 60-70% of their forces in battalions, and the losses are enormous. 6,000 people per week.
Yeah, no, that's insane.
Yeah, so Pokrovsk is lost, and Russians control the center of Pokrovsk. However, some Spetsnaz forces of Ukrainians were sent back to Pokrovsk, and some streets are still under control of Ukrainian forces, and some streets are controlled by Russian forces, and Spetsnaz fight each other, and the drones are flying everywhere. So they basically sit in the some apartments and buildings, and they do not fight on the streets because the drones are monitoring the situation and kill all soldiers that just try to walk on the streets and kill each other.
Yeah. So I had I saw this. I can't remember exactly where I saw it, but someone was commenting that after Siersky was brought in and the old commander would left, or was sent to London or whatever, that the tactics changed from Ukraine from more maneuver towards more like Soviet tactics. So now you have a small Soviet army fighting a big Soviet army.
Yes, it is. Yes. So Siersky is an artillery commander, and he is very much a person who is very stubborn, and he's an artillerist, and he doesn't understand the tactical maneuverability of the army or the strategy of the terrain, and he doesn't understand the strategic operational command. He was taught to use the brutal force in the Soviet Union, and he didn't obtain any other upgrade of his military software in his head, and he was respected by people from the artillery and from the combat when the war started in 2014, because he ordered just to shoot artillery without any orders and without any analysis, and he was respected just for the brutal force. But the brutal force doesn't work in this war, and he has become a puppet of Yermak and Zelensky, and he obeys their orders from the office of the president.
And so Yermak is the Zelensky advisor.
Yes, Yermak is the usurper and the real president of Ukraine right now.
Interesting. So where do you see all this going?
Let's take a look at the next slide. All right, so the real front line is, I just draw the line, and you can see larger cauldrons surrounded area and smaller cauldrons. So Pokrovsk is lost, and you can see some comments on the screen where it's not what I wrote, but you can see some numbers that a lot of troops have left the army. So estimated 460 troops have left the army. and they're hiding on the territory of Ukraine, but they cannot leave Ukraine.
460,000
Yeah, 460,000 of AWO
deserters, essentially.
deserters, yes.
Yeah.
And the Verkhovna Rada, 2 weeks ago, they passed the additional law that if those deserters do not come back to the army, they could be thrown into jail for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So people desert the army and they will be caught on the streets because the bounty hunters catch deserters and they catch people who have not been mobilized yet. And the country is full of jail and detention. So a lot of men are simply detained in bounty hunters' jails.
Wow. And these are like underground, like really bad facilities. You've sent me some images of that in the past. I mean, guys chained to like bed bunks and, you know, sleeping on top of each other. I mean, it's really bad conditions in these facilities, right?
Yes, bad condition. And I myself visited the TCK center, I mean, the drafting center in Deverze. It's a Darnica military outpost, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a military outpost of the country anymore because it has been privatized, and all those military outposts, they are private organizations that draft people on the streets and they give them contracts, and if people do not sign the contracts voluntarily, they just kick their heads, and people become disabled after they have been kicked. And I remember I visited that particular infamous Darnica outpost, and I walked in, and all those people who work there, they're so rude. The doctors are rude, and the colonels are simply imbeciles and idiots. And those outposts have become simply jails. And I remember walking through some of those buildings and trying to get the information because I had to be registered as a soldier because otherwise the government would not give me a passport. And I remember I was shocked. I visited so many medical examinations in my life, and I learned to hate all those idiots and imbeciles who work for this. You need to understand that those outposts, they are not the government. They're the private army. They're militarized formations, and they're basically squadrons. And they detain people, and they kick people, they torture people in those jails. And there are thousands of pictures already in the internet coming from my friends, coming from this other sources, videos who show how people are kicked and tortured in those military detention camps.
You were telling me before that because they're private, the families won't get insurance, like, you know, like the Americans. There's an expression in America called, you know, like he bought the farm, meaning it came from World War II when, you know, pilots would get killed and the farm would get paid off by the government with the life insurance. So you bought the farm by dying in the war. But that doesn't happen to these private formations. Am I correct?
If let's say a person is caught on the street, he will be drafted into the army without against the will. And if this person is killed in action, he is considered a private trooper, not a government trooper. And his body, if found, will be sent to the family. And the papers will be issued to the family that that person was a private draftee, but not a government soldier. And if you're a private draftee, the family doesn't get the 12 million hryvnia for the body. And the 12 million hryvnia is basically, how much is it? So it's $250,000. But the families who have the papers that their father or son was actually a government army soldier draftee, because there's a definition if you're drafted in the real army formation or you're drafted as a private soldier. So the people, men in Ukraine, they learned to pay $6,000 in order for them to be drafted as a government soldier.
What a grift.
What a grift. And I mean, you need to pay $6,000 in order to be drafted as a government soldier. and if you're killed, then your family will obtain 12 million hryvnia, which is approximately $250,000, spread within 8 years.
Jeez.
So this is bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, just to get equipment for yourself, it costs approximately $12,000 to get the equipment in order for you to go to the army, because they will not give you the equipment. That's the point.
Wow. So I just want to say to our audience, we're not pro-Russian or pro-Ukrainian. We're pro-humanity. We want the killing to end, and this is nothing more, in my opinion, Alex, than just a depopulation exercise. What do you think?
Yes, it's a homicide. It's a big genocide, and it's a homicide. And all this war is the war for the control of resources.
Mm-hmm.
And the Russian Federation troops, they do not attack the territories where the licenses of American and British corporations are located. And they just occupy the locations and the territories on Donbass where the licenses have been assigned by President either Kravchuk, Kuchma, or Yanukovych for Russian companies. And that's basically the war for resources and the war for control and the war for taxes and the war for population and the territorial control. About that, of course, you have the geopolitical reasons for this war, and but those are secondary.
So is, we had the Wiesbaden German situation where the U.S. and NATO generals were controlling the war. Is that still the case, or is it mostly the British now? What is going on?
Yeah, British MI6 control the arena, the theater, the war theater, and every other day there's a situational meeting that happens in the situational room of Yermak with British observers and commanders.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So what else do you have? Is there another slide? Or?
Yeah. Please go on to the other slide. So Zelensky is an usurper, and just last week there was a report, and this report was issued by the Department of State that stated basically that 3 months ago the intelligence community of the United States have issued the report on the state of
Did I lose you?
Can see the excerpts. I took some excerpts from this report. They understand that the Zelensky and Yermak are basically usurpers, and they have usurped the powers. And there's no democracy because Rada reports to the usurpers, Zelensky and
The
Yermak.
parliament. The Rada is the parliament.
Yeah, it's a parliament. Yes.
There's no separation of powers, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no separation of power. It's a vertical, and they have established the military junta. So by all definitions, by any definitions, it's a military junta, officially stated in Ukraine. And this report is available in the United States, issued by the CIA and the intelligence community. You can see there. So the NSA, they have this. So they have this report, and they understand that they are dealing with the military junta. And my question, and I have been asking this question for almost 2 years already, and you remember that I asked this question: in what capacity does President Trump? So what is the capacity of President Zelensky and Yermak when they travel to Washington D.C. and they meet President Trump? So how in the world legitimate President Trump, the President of the United States, can meet illegitimate junta commanders that have usurped the powers and they're killing thousands of people in Ukraine? So what is their capacity for them to travel to Washington, D.C. and meet the President of the United States? That's my question.
Well, you have an Al-Qaeda leader in Syria coming to D.C. next week. So
yeah, I am surprised about that also. So that person from Al-Qaeda was in Syria, appointed as a president. He's a serial killer. Have you seen he held two heads that he cut off, and he boasted that he cut off the heads of their enemies. It's a serial killer. So Zelensky is a serial killer, and Yermak is a serial killer.
Wow.
Let's take a look at the next slide.
Okay.
All right. So who is Yermak? Yermak is an instrument of oligarch Pinchuk. And Pinchuk is the business partner and political partner of George Soros. So there's the organized crime syndicate that controls the military junta in Ukraine that is influenced by influenced and controlled by the family of Soros, the family of Pinchuk. And they have business interests to the large oligarchy from Europe, from the UK, and from the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Yermak is a person who have usurped the powers, the responsibilities, and Yermak controls Zelensky. Next slide. So you can see on this slide, you see that Soros Jr. Financed the new mayor of New York, and Soros Jr. finances, controls, influences, and provides financing for Yermak and Zelensky. And Soros Jr. and Soros family, they have common business interest in business companies that operate in Ukraine and out of Ukraine. And after this slide, I sent you the video.
Yes.
Please show us the video.
Okay, here we go.
Розуміти, я впевнений, що сама Бельгія не проти, тому що це питання всіх і відповідальності всіх. Треба зрозуміти, я впевнений, що сама Бельгія не проти, тому що це питання всіх і відповідальності всіх. Треба зрозуміти, я впевнений, що сама Бельгія не проти.
Well, you saw the facial expressions of this business partner and homicide and genocidal partner of Zelensky.
Yeah.
So Yermak understands that Zelensky is a puppet, he's an actor, and Yermak is behind the scenes, and Yermak is pulling the strings on Zelensky, and Yermak is behind all criminal and political and military activities in Ukraine. So how can you forecast what will happen next if the person behaves like this? Let's take a look at the next slide.
Oh, okay, let me bring that back up.
All right, so Yermak is looking at there. You can see that he's behind, and he's basically a director of Zelensky. Next slide.
Mm-hmm.
So Yermak is connected with Soros and Soros-affiliated structures from the city of London and, of course, from New York. And you can see here that Soros was born in Hungary. Soros is a persona non grata in Hungary. And you can see here that the Hungarian legislature even passed the law in order to ban Soros-affiliated structures to operate in Hungary. Mm-hmm. Next slide. And let's take a look at the historical example of how the color revolutions are organized. So what we see here on the slide, there was a color revolution organized and influenced by left and right radicals outside of Hungary, who organized homicide and genocide of adequate and local Hungarians and Soviet people in Budapest in 1956. So you can see here the text and the actual pictures, how the left and right radicals hand people and cut their bodies.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the center of Budapest in 1956, and the story is this is a little excerpt from the actual destiny and the life of the wife of future president of the USSR, her name Andropova. If you remember, Andropov was appointed a president in 1980 something in the USSR.
Yeah.
So the destiny of this story is awful. When I myself I didn't understand the events of 1956. My mom actually told me that my grandfather, as a historian and the Soviet Union officer, was really shocked and cried over the events that happened in Budapest. Next slide.
Well, let me just say something. I think it's becoming obvious that the Bolsheviks destroyed Russia primarily, and they're trying to do the same thing here and in the U.S.
Trotskyist.
Yeah.
Trotskyist, modern neo-Nazis, I would say. So
Yeah.
they're not clear Nazi, they're not clear Trotskyist, they're modern neo-Nazi Trotskyist. They're so left that they are so right. So the left radicals and right radicals have combined in their ideology and of modern Trotskyism, and I think there will be some modern term to describe how this neo-Trotskyism has evolved.
It's essentially using, satanic violence to achieve power and money, right? I mean, is that kind of the basics of it?
It's a part of it, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's very satanic, and it's all for money. It's all for political control, and it's all for behind the scenes control. It's not transparent. It's not democracy. It's not the republic. It's not what you would call a country. So what they did in Hungary in 1956, I think that they will do similar in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And they did similar in Ukraine in 2014, and they did similar in 2020 in Ukraine, and the similar is happening right now in Ukraine. So my personal forecast is that we will see something similar to the pictures you see right now on the screen. We will see similar in Ukraine. People will be hands on Krещатик, and then it will be over for the country.
Well, I mean, there's a reason we don't see everything on the front, because it's horrific. I mean, 9,000 people a week being killed, or whatever the number is, 6 to 8, whatever. I mean, that's just, it's got to be just, Armageddon there. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Anyway, next slide
Next slide. Yeah. Next slide. So this slide is basically a conclusion. So you can see that Soros and Soros-affiliated structures operate in Ukraine from 1993. Soros gave first credit to first president of Ukraine, Kravchuk, and Kravchuk defaulted in 1993. And then Kravchuk had to obey Soros-affiliated structures from 1993. And I have seen this particular document myself, where the government buildings in Ukraine, the government buildings in Rada and Cabinet of Ministers, they have all been collateralized on that credit from Soros. I have seen that particular document signed by the Minister of Finance of Ukraine, so it's not some conspiracy theory. I have seen the document myself. I researched this, and later all next presidents of Ukraine, they also defaulted on credits to Soros, and that's why Soros and Soros-affiliated structures have so much influence on the government of Ukraine, the Cabinet of Ministers, and Soros appoints the Ministers of Finance, and basically the Minister of Finance of Ukraine and previous and the current one, Sergei Marchenko, they report to Soros and Rothschild affiliated structures. Next
and you
slide.
told me before that there's a like a washing machine where they pull these kids out of school, they educate them a certain way, then they put them in the NGOs, and then they put them in the government. It's all run by Soros, right?
Yeah. So, for example, Kyiv School of Economics is a private institution that is financed secretly by Renaissance Foundation, by Soros, Eurasia Foundation, also by grants from European countries, and they place Then they place kids into specialized trainings, secret trainings administered by NGOs in Ukraine. I have several witnesses who reported what happens on those secret trainings. So then the kids are brainwashed. Those kids can be like in their 20s or 30s. So it's not only kids, it's adults, young adults. Then they're brainwashed, and then they're put into secret trainings and neuro-linguistic trainings, and basically like semi-agent trainings, and then they're placed into particular governmental agencies or organs or municipalities in Ukraine. And this is how Soros-affiliated structures have built and penetrated the body of the government of Ukraine.
And they're trying to do that here. And that's also why...
Yeah, they did it the same in the United States. It's all similar.
If you take the theory that it's a satanic movement, and then it makes perfect sense that you would attack the Ukrainian Orthodox Church and steal the churches, burn the churches, beat the priests. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, makes the same sense to me. Next slide. Yeah. All right, this is the picture of the Hungarian news, and I have been saying this for many years because I worked in Naftogaz. I worked with Naftogaz people, and I know a lot of people who worked in Naftogaz, and I myself researched the forensic money laundering cases on Naftogaz, and you can see here the example of the Hungarian news. So this is the website coming from Hungary that states that Soros stuffed Naftogaz with own people, and Vitrenko, Kobolev, they fly to the office of Soros in London. I have seen the business trips documents of Vitrenko and Kobolev, who were the managers of Naftogaz when they report to Soros and when they flew.
Just for our audience, Naftogaz is the state-run gas utility.
Soros runs the Naftogaz.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Naftogaz is penetrated by the agents of Soros, by the agents of the British Secret Service and American Secret Service. There are representatives of Kolomoisky, Firtash in Naftogaz. So Naftogaz is a group of companies that control a lot of licenses in oil and gas and rare earth mineral fields in Ukraine. So the fight is for the resources, for the oil, gas, and rare earth minerals that Naftogaz also controls, and that's why the agents of Soros were placed in Naftogaz. Vitrenko and Kobolev reported to Soros. The agents of British Secret Service were placed into Naftogaz. The agents of from the CIA were placed onto the supervisory board on Naftogaz. I mean, the Secret Service have penetrated Naftogaz, and they cooperate with Soros people. But Soros is an oligarch that controls and cooperates with Secret Services out of the United Kingdom and the United States. So how do you call this?
Yeah.
Next slide. So this is the original screenshot of the letter from George Soros to oligarch criminal Petro Poroshenko, who was the president of Ukraine. So Petro Poroshenko defaulted to Soros on credits, and George Soros utilizes the letter. Sometimes George Soros would come and have personal meetings with ministers. George Soros assigns the ministers and controls the presidents of Ukraine. This is the outcome, and I have seen a lot of documents of similar nature that you see right now on the screen. This is just one of the letters I just prepared on the screen on the slides just for you, for the audience, just to prove my words, and that it's not a conspiracy theory. It's anti-conspiracy. It's they do not even hide their influence on the ministers and presidents of Ukraine. They are so sure that they can get away with it that they do not even hide it anymore. So next slide. These are the real screenshots of the Renaissance Foundation. We can find probably more evidence like this, but I have this file from 2018. I did not monitor the activity of George Soros, and don't get me wrong that I monitor his activity. You can see here that there are tons of money that have been laundered from the government of the United States through Soros-affiliated structures, through the NGOs of Soros-affiliated structures, and they have been carouseled through European NGOs and Ukrainian NGOs. Carouseling of money is basically easy money laundering.
Carouseling, you mean like
Carouseling, yes.
like a merry-go-round? It's
Merry-go-round. It's a
washing
carousel
machine.
of money. It's
A
a washing machine. It's a
Yeah.
carouseling of money through the channels.
Yeah.
So it's a special term, money carouseling. So they circle the money. They backwards circle the money through NGOs, through shell companies, through SPVs, and they profit from this because when they control the spending, they control the investment, and then they control the dividends out of those channels.
Right.
And they wash the money through the channels. And you can see here that they control the media in Ukraine, but Soros-affiliated structures, they finance and control the media not only in Ukraine. I'm speaking about Ukraine because this is the presentation about Ukraine and the situation in Ukraine. But the same channels, the same techniques, they're used in other European countries, not only in Ukraine. The same techniques are used in Argentina. The same techniques are used in Brazil. The same techniques are used in Latin American countries. Same techniques are used in African countries. Same techniques. I mean, there's the same problem in Slovakia, same problem in Czech Republic, same problem in Germany, same problem in Portugal, in Spain, same problem in Great Britain. Everything is of the same nature and same instruments and same techniques. Next slide.
Okay.
Okay, this is this picture. I just found it in the internet some long time ago, but you can see the structure of Soros network in Ukraine. Soros appoints the president, Soros appoints the minister, Soros appoints the minister of finance, Soros appoints the head of central banks in not only in Ukraine. Soros appointed the heads of central bank in Slovakia and Czech Republic, in other European countries. Soros has heads of central bank working for him, so for his funds and for his NGOs. People are trained to get into Soros-affiliated companies. For example, my colleagues and some of my friends, they dreamed to get additional secret trainings to get their MBAs and get into Soros-affiliated structures in Ukraine, because that would mean they would get $3,000, $5,000, maybe $8,000 per month, and for that kind of money in Kyiv, you could live like you are a king or a queen. Yeah. And that's why they betrayed their own conscience, they betrayed their consciousness, they betray their honesty, they betray their people, and they begin to work for this network of Soros. Next slide.
Well, let me just say, I know you could have been part of that, and you're the only honest Ukrainian I know.
I escaped from several projects that were affiliated with Soros. I was suggested to be a part of several companies that worked for Soros. For example, I had several interviews with people who established the Renaissance Foundation in Ukraine. For example, I did not meet Daniluk myself, but I have been interviewed for a position in the office of Renaissance Foundation and several other NGOs that Renaissance financed in Ukraine. And I also worked for a project that Soros provided financing. And I have seen internal documents. And I told you already that I visited Naftogaz, I worked with Naftogaz people, I met with Naftogaz people, and Naftogaz was penetrated by people from Soros.
Yeah, okay.
Next slide. So here are some more pictures of source-affiliated network. You can see Olena Zelensky, wife of Mr. Zelensky and the Super of Ukraine, got herself into a huge scandal of human body trafficking and baby trafficking out of Ukraine and body organs trafficking. And you can see that Mrs. Zelenska is well connected to source-affiliated structures, and you can see some famous people on the picture on the right.
Yeah.
So it's a huge scandal.
Yeah.
So the Zelensky, Mrs. Zelensky, and Mr. Zelensky, they're not only criminals; they're criminals against humanity.
Yes.
And many people have already reported on the illegal money laundering, on illegal human body trafficking, on the illegal weapons smuggling out of Ukraine. And what is more intriguing out of this is that the CIA and the government of the United States, AFAC, FinCEN, they have this information about the criminal activities of Zelensky and Pinchuk and Yermak and Soros in Ukraine, but they do not stop them. So what's the question with that?
Yeah.
Next slide.
Okay.
And you can see here that Yermak reports to Soros, Alex Soros, on a regular basis. You can see the situational room located just across the parliament of Ukraine. I visited that particular facility several times. I did not walk into the situational room, but the guys who escorted me there, they showed me where the situational room is located, and I know the place. I have been into that business center many times, and I have been into the maintenance facility of this data center that works for this particular situational room that you see on the picture. So you can see here that Alex Soros usually travels to Ukraine once per several months, and they have cordial meetings with Andrei Yermak, and you can see that Andrei Yermak reports to Alex Soros. And anytime there's a problem and there's a liquidity gap or additional money has to be laundered, Alex Soros comes to Kyiv, meets with Yermak, and then they create a really creative accounting governmental solution how to launder the money through Ukraine. And the sums and the volumes of money laundering, they are enormous. So approximately 95% of financing goes through Ukraine, is carouseled through Ukraine, and then leaves Ukraine. And only approximately estimated 3 to 5% of financing that Ukraine is provided stays within Ukraine and is spent on Ukrainian.
Well, I've always said
purposes.
that Ukraine is essentially a playground for organized crime. I mean,
yes,
they can do
is.
anything they want, that's why they don't want to lose it, because it's unmonitored. There's no accountability at all.
There's no accountability, and we on this slide we see the puppet masters, and this is how they do it. Next slide. All right, and another scandal, and you can see the source. It's Guardian, and I did not invent this source, so it's Guardian. So Guardian is controlled by the Secret Service out of the United Kingdom. So you can see here. So the question is that Guardian people basically asked, did Boris Johnson take bribes to persuade Zelensky to continue the war? And that was the sponsor of Boris Zelensky on the left. You can see on the picture on the left. And then you can see that Boris Johnson came to Ukraine and persuaded Zelensky and Yermak and gave them the guarantees from the Secret Service of the United Kingdom so that they need to continue the war. So Boris Johnson was an instrument, but he's not the puppet master. So Boris Johnson is an instrument how to control the puppets in Ukraine and how to create the usurpation of powers in Ukraine. And you can see that it's all a theater. It is a playground. Next slide.
Okay. I think that's it.
That's it. Okay. That's it for today.
Well, my friend, thank you for your time. It's always an amazing insight. So take care, and we'll talk.
Thank you, Todd.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye-bye.